Hey guys, Deathslander Magic here. We've got even more Double Master spoilers. We're at 209 known cards out of 332. So quite a few to go, but we're probably getting close to the just big, common, who cares filler dump. But for now, exciting cards, like we've got Progenitor Mimic. Oh boy, it's a 0/0 for 6, so obviously the train's pulling into Value Town already, and you may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield except it has, at the beginning of your upkeep, if this creature isn't a token, create a token that's a copy of this creature. Wow, that is ridiculously overpowered. So it's the spell quasi-duplicate, except it goes off every turn forever. Oh no, it goes off every turn forever for 0 mana. Wonderful. So this, like, rampable Simic card is $3. Explain that one to me. Anyway, next up we got Veteran Explorer. It's a human soldier scout, thankfully not an elf. It's a 1/1 for 1, and when it dies, each player, that's right, each player may search their library for up to 2 basic land cards and put them onto the battlefield. Then each player who searched their library this way shuffles it. Any spell or effect or card or anything that helps your opponent just as much as it helps you, don't even consider it for your deck. Now that said, if you're running Landfall, you might be able to get something out of this, or if your entire deck absolutely ceases to function if you don't get tons and tons of lands. Which in that case, just build a better deck. Also, this has to die. Good luck trying to control when that happens in like a mono green deck. So next up we got Vexing Shusher. This is another Shadowmoor card, was $20, now it's 10 it looks like for pre-order. And yeah, it's 2 hybrid, it's a 2/2, and the spell can't be countered. And then if you pay 1 of either hybrid, red or green, target spell can't be countered. Somehow that's not a blue ability. So, I mean, they can see it in play, but still, you could activate this in response to a spell being targeted by a counterspell. That's ridiculous. So it's a red-green counter spell. I have never seen that. This is why the colors in the color pie really need to stay in their lane. I can't even believe they print something like this, except I can because it's Wizards. What do you expect? Next up, we've got Wound Reflection. It is a 5-cost black enchantment. Or, pardon me, 6 cost. I don't even need to translate that part, I just need to read. At the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn. So just basically double damage, but in a roundabout way. I wonder why it's in Double Masters. Yeah, taking all the balance of an entire format and card game and color and deck and then just saying, well, actually double it. You can't do that. That's not how the cards were tested, that's not how they play together, and if it is somehow fair, that means that without this card, your deck is half the power it needs to be to compete. Mathematically, it is impossible to have a fair card that doubles damage, universally across the board. But then on the other hand, there's Mark Rosewater, who needs to be fired from Wizards immediately. Oh, and by the way, not legendary, you can just sit there and stack these. So somehow Card Kingdom doesn't have a pre-order price on this yet, but the original Shadowmoor version is $33. So I mean, yeah, 6 is a lot, you could probably just win the game with 6 in some cases, but this is still a horribly overpowered card. Next up, you've got to be kidding me. This translates to Rage Reflection? Oh my god, what fresh hell is this? Okay. Oh, of course. Creatures you control have double strike. Why not? They still don't have trample, and 6 is a lot for red, but this card is still an absolute disgrace. Fiery Emancipation is worse, like literally worse in every conceivable way, but this is still ridiculous. And somehow this is a 69-cent card. I guess, boy, red really doesn't want to get to 6, or it probably wants to, it just can't. Next up, we've got Explosion Reflection. Just kidding. It's Merciless Eviction. This was printed in a bunch of Commander sets. It was also in Gatecrash, actually, which is why, you know, because that set's not worth anything. It's $3.50 as it sits. It's probably going to drop to $1 after they post the pre-order prices. So you get to choose one of the 4 following effects, and this is Sorcery Speed for 6. Exile all artifacts, exile all creatures, exile all enchantments, or exile all planeswalkers. That's about as flexible as you can get, and it gets past, indestructible, but still, it costs 6. You could really do some asymmetric damage with this, though. Anything that resembles an asymmetric board wipe and costs less than Ingaruk's Wake, which is the king of asymmetric board wipes, and by the way, costs 9, you should at least consider seeing if your deck might be able to pull off however much mana it does. So, pretty cheap card. I mean, $3.50 is pretty low for something that's, this good. But, once it starts getting up into the 6, 7, 8 range, yeah, there's a lot of good cards. A lot of competition in that spot, and not a lot of decks can get that high. Next up, we've got Ad Nauseum. This card can go straight back to hell. This card needs to, hit the brakes, turn on the blinker, pull a 180-degree U-turn, and get the away from me. If you're not familiar, let me know if this $33 rare sounds a little overpowered to you. Now keep in mind, this looks and sounds like it would be an enchantment. It's actually an instant, believe it or not, and it is a 5 cost, but reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. You lose life equal to its converted mana cost. You may repeat this process any number of times. Fun fact, there's a deck called Ad Nauseum. Guess why they call it that? You can't just draw your whole deck and have almost no negative consequences. Now you're thinking, but Des, you could just draw a couple and then basically die. There goes your whole life total. That's not how these decks work. They either want their life lower, or they don't care, or they offset it, or they can't lose the game, or they're running like some lich card, or I've seen everything at this point. So usually, like the Ad Nauseum deck that's the most typical is a modern deck. You basically draw your entire deck, and then just, I can't lose the game this turn, some effect like that, Angel's Grace. I'd say Platinum Angel, but I mean, who has that much mana? Just some little dumb whatever, something where it's like, if something would reduce your life to below 1, then it doesn't, or whatever. I mean, Angel's Grace is 1 mana, so you literally draw your entire deck and then just smack down a Thassa's Oracle and you win the game. Such an absolute bullshit deck. It's gimmicky. To call it repetitive would be even redundant. It's that obvious that it only wins one way with one card and one combo. It's boring to play with. It's boring to play against. It's terrible. It's everything wrong with competitive Magic and formats outside of Standard. Boring, stupid, repetitive win cons are just ruining the game. Nobody wants to play against that garbage. It's not fun. It's just stupid. And then, one counterspell? They'll just forfeit. Oh, well, you ruined my combo. Okay, I'm dead, whatever. So if I win, I don't get to play my deck, and if I lose, I don't get to play my deck. Maybe they should ban Ad Nauseum. And then, never print anything like it ever again. In fact, any card that says, and then do this as many times as you want, they should probably not print that. Ever. So next up, we've got a card that's even more widely hated by an even bigger portion of the community. I am not kidding. It's Thoughtsies. So naturally, with this being in every last person's top 10 list for the most hated cards ever, even the pro players, which have a really high bar for obnoxious, disruptive bullshit, they have been demanding that this card and a couple others like it be banned from at least Modern for like years now, and Wizards is like, no, we can't. It's worth too much money. I mean, that's basically what they meant to say. So not only did they throw it in here, but they made it a borderless box topper, which is currently $80. So I guess last time we saw this, it was Iconic Masters, and it only got down to $23. Ouch. Oh, actually, I have absolutely no idea why, but the Theros one is $18. That makes no sense. So yeah, I don't know. This one will probably be 15 bare minimum. I don't know. Hard to say. I mean, not this one, the borderless one, but the normal version. Remember, I heard that like 10, 15, maybe even 20 years ago, they took a poll about what the most obnoxious, like impossible to play against, game-ruining, fun-ruining mechanic was in the game. And way back when, pretty much everybody universally said land destruction. I think the number 2 most popular to vote was like color-specific stuff that just shuts down your deck based on a color. Fast forward to much more recently, like 6, 7 years ago around there, this is all rumor, I couldn't find anybody actually giving me a source on this, but I've heard it from multiple people. They took a survey of what people thought was the absolute most toxic thing in the game right now, in both Commander and Modern primarily. Basically everybody said hand disruption and hand spying. And then they banned Gitaxian Probe. But they didn't ban Thoughtsies, even though people said they want Thoughtsies banned. It is ruining Modern, and it is. I've read entire articles written by longtime pro players and like pro commentators where the entire article is, oh my gosh, ban Thoughtsies. I am sick of it. They give examples, they give stories, they give evidence, they give math, they give reasoning, they give other people's accounts. In fact, I think one of those articles was the ones that referenced the poll that said nobody likes discard effects and hand disruption and, just generally cards that are this. So naturally, reprint it, make it more expensive, and fail to ban it. Good job, Wizards. Thanks. You too. Next up, Bloodbriar. It's a 3-drop 2/3 plant elemental. Whenever you sacrifice another permanent, put a 1/1 counter on Bloodbriar. Well, outside of, treasure and clue tokens, I don't think you could really get this going all that much in this set, at least for draft. I don't know. Maybe this will reference more cards that come out in the future. Next up, Kozilek's Predator. It's a 4-cost 3/3 Eldrazi drone, and when it enters the battlefield, create 2 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens. They have sacrifice this creature, add 1 colorless mana. So the Phyrexians and Artifact Affinity decks weren't bad enough. They had to bring in the Eldrazi. Oh, and Elves. And Thoughtseize and Blood Moon. They might as well have called this shit that everybody hates Masters. Like, they literally just took a list of everything people hate about the game the most and put it all into one set together. What could have possibly been going through their heads? I do wonder. How out of touch are these idiots? Anyway, next up we got Bloodspore Thrinax. It's a 4-drop 2/2 with Devour 1. As this enters battlefield, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. This creature enters battlefield with that many +1/+1 counters on it. So if you sack a 5/5, you only get one +1/+1 counter because it was one creature. So it's really only good for like token decks or, I don't know, something where you want it to die or you stole their creature and you want to kill it. I don't know. But other creatures you control enters... each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional X/1/1 counters on it, where X is the number of counters on Bloodspore Thrinax. So that's where the true power lies. But it takes a while to get it going. So in much faster formats like Modern, I don't know. And in fact, the $1.50 price tag would support the theory of, I don't know. Next up, Galvanic Blast. It's a 1-cost instant in red that deals 2 damage to any target, and then it has Metalcraft. It deals 4 damage instead if you control 3 or more artifacts. Yep, a super lightning bolt that's basically artifact affinity. Everybody needed this in their life. At least, none of this goes into any format that I currently play. It is refreshing to, 1, have 0 new cards in this set, so you don't have to worry about, what they come up with now. And then also, I primarily play Standard, Historic, and Brawl. Really just Historic Brawl right now. So it's whatever they throw in here, I'm mostly just concerned with its value. So it's hooray, look, more money, yay. And the brokenness of cards that are already established in the meta and people have been complaining about for years that Wizards doesn't do anything about, I guess it's not really getting worse. So it's I'm going to vent about how much these cards shouldn't exist and should have already been dealt with, along with everybody else in the community. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I don't have to give a shit. Now, when they print something like the Scarab God or put Ugin back in Standard, that's going to be shoved in my face for the next year and a half. Then I care. So anyway, moving on, we've got, believe it or not, one of my all-time favorite cards, Fencing Ace. This is in my SEAL Team 6 Modern deck, which is literally just Infect, except replace the word Infect with Double Strike and make it 20% weaker. It's still a turn 4 kill, just not as often as Infect. But, I mean, for $60 or whatever it costs, Hey, just saying, Windswept Heath is one of the cheaper ones, just throwing that out there. Anyway, yeah, it's just a 1/1 for 2 with Double Strike. I freaking love this card. I don't know why. It's just awesome. You just give it a boost and it's damn. Now, unlike a certain 1-cost black creature in Standard right now that does massive damage on early turns, this requires some other card, some other effect, something else to interact with it. You don't just drop it in and then, I'm going to dump my mana into it. Woo, hit for 3, hit for 4, hit for 7. You lose. So, yeah, a double striker that's the lowest mana cost in basically at least the Modern pool, if not the history of the game, might seem kind of dangerous, but it's you still got to mix it with something else. And you're investing a lot, especially auras and equipment and all that, into one card, and then they might blow it up. It is an inherently fair card. So next up, we got the Sword of Feast and Famine, which, I literally just got done eating a 18-inch carrot that I just pulled out of my garden. Holy crap, guys. I improved the soil this year and planted them differently, spaced them differently, all this stuff. These carrots are beast. They're tasty, too. I got this garlic olive oil at, believe it or not, my local hardware store. Good eating. So this sword is almost as cool as my tasty carrots, but not quite. So anyway, this is the protection green-black, +2/+2, okay, and then whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card and you untap all lands. This is one of the better swords. So even this reprint is $40 right now pre-order, which, that's what, almost double the other sword, I think? The Fire and Ice one. This was in Mirrored and Besieged for $70 currently. It was in a Modern event deck, really? I guess that makes sense, but damn. Those were a while ago. Then they brought them back and called them something different. This was a Masterpiece, which is about $160. There's a Judge Foil that they have listed at $90, but it says out of stock. That can't be $90. That's got to be $200. You got to be kidding me. But then there's the Borderless Non-Foil Double Masters Box Topper but not VIP Edition one that they just have kind of a placeholder price of $100. I guess they're just kind of throwing that out there for the good valuable ones. So, yeah, huge money if you open it, that's for sure. And in the VIP one, it'll probably be, $110, $120, $130 for the foil Borderless. So definitely big money, but it makes sense because it's a mythic. Now, remember, there are 42 mythics or something like that in the set instead of 15. So, yeah, don't think you're going to pull this roll often, but if you do, and a lot of the mythics are big money, you're good. Except for, if you remember yesterday, we had, I think it was Geth. He's a $1 mythic. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, that hit effect is devastating. If you hit them because they don't have a sufficient blocker or they don't have a blocker because he blew up all the rest, or you somehow granted a trample, well, how are they going to come back from that board state if you just nuked one of their cards and then you've got full, like, control spell mana open? I mean, this sword is insane. Honestly, for a 3-drop and 2-equip, I think it's a little OP. If it was like 4 and 4, I'd be like, yeah, okay. I mean, you're investing a lot of mana in it, whatever. The fact that this isn't legendary, I always found that to be a bit odd. But you know, who cares? I'm not going to put it in the deck. I barely even play paper anymore, so if this is money and I can get my hands on some, yay for me. Hey, speaking of money, this card used to be worth some. I'll just break it to you right up front. This is a $2.50 card right now. Now get this, I remember this was in MM2 and I remember it was in UMA, and I know UMA really killed the price, but I actually looked at a price history chart website thing, and oh my gosh, so this card in 2012 was like $3. People are like, whatever. And then they realized that being able to blow up a land was pretty good, and it spiked up to $13 in 2013. Then it hit $30 in late 2013. Then in early 2014, $40, and it was pretty much, you know, 40. It's been there a couple times. But then all of a sudden in the end of 2015, boom, crashes down to $20. My guess would be because MM2 came out, just a supply thing. And then it just shot right back up with Oath of the Gatewatch. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't giving enough of a crap about the meta to tell you why. But then it almost just steadily declined from there. It hit an absolute tank in early 2017, late 2016, right back from $40 down to $20. So, I mean, still a $20 card, cool. Then, with the release of Amonkhet, shot right back up to like $43. And then it's been kind of a linear decline. I mean, you look at like mid-2018, it was $31. And then right around like the end of 2018, it was $20. Then it fell to $13 in early 2019. And then it's like March 9th, 2020, it was $10, and then it's just gone. Like right after that, just straight, you know, line down, steady decrease, and now it's $250. So that is a crazy price history. I know that we've had like some reprints, some other cards that were better than this and more efficient for what they do. But I mean, still, yeah, this is a 3-drop. Yeah, it's hybrid. Okay, whatever. And then it's only a 2/2. So right off the bat, it's a little slow for modern in an aggressive deck. I mean, 2 damage for 3 mana without haste, that's just not good. Not in those colors. But if you sack him, you can destroy target non-basic land. Okay, cool. And then they don't search their library for a replacement land, other than they are out 1 land. That's powerful, but having this in your deck at all means you're sacrificing a card that could, you know, actually win the game. Like a big, amazing, resilient, recurring trigger, amazing ability, you know, amazing ETB, amazing death trigger card that costs 3, which, I mean, in Modern, there's a couple that cost 3, just saying. So you must, like, really want that land gone. And all you're doing is like setting yourself back, because now this card's gone, while setting your opponent back. But obviously if they lose like one of their 3 lands, and it's going to take them, you know, 3 card draws to get, you know, back to a land, because 1 in every 3 cards in their deck is a land, yeah, you're racing ahead of them pretty quick. So I could see why this was popular, but it's almost purely defensive. So I could also see why it hit 250, you know? I will say, after this being in Ultimate Masters, why the hell is it in this set? It was a $4 card after that reprint, and I mean like way after. Very questionable when this was one of the bomb cards in MM2. And looks like that's it for today's spoilers, at least as of, geez, it's only 2:49 in the afternoon. I shouldn't even close out this video yet. I thought it was like 5 o'clock. Hell, I just accidentally ate dinner. I was just like dicking around outside, and I'm like, carrot, and then it just one thing led to another. So we might see a couple more come out, but it's already like super late European time, so, you know, whatever, I'll just cover them tomorrow. So, hey, don't forget to hit subscribe if you don't want to miss more spoilers. And not to mention, one of these days I'm going to get enough time to edit and film the rest of the Bulletproof Vest video. It'll be a couple days. But you do not want to miss it. It is the most expensive video I've ever shot for this channel, and I have upwards of 3,000 videos. By the way, this channel is closing in on 30 million... I guess I could say views. I deleted like 1 million of them. So like not really. We're actually closing in on like 31 million. But I just found a video of monkeys reacting to magic tricks that has almost double the views of my entire channel. Like, why am I even making magic content? I just need to get my ass a monkey and just do anything with it. Just monkey equal view. I think that line of code is written into the YouTube algorithm. So, you know what? Join my Patreon if you want to help me acquire a monkey that I can teach to play magic. I'll be real with you, it's almost definitely not going to actually happen, but I very rarely mention my Patreon. Link in the description if you're interested. If you're as broke as me and you got to watch out for your own finances first, yeah, don't even bother. I just, you know, like that you're here watching my videos. Oh, and by the way, I just checked. I wanted to see if my channel has more view hours than the Super Bowl. It does not. It's not even close. Darn, that sucks. I totally wanted to say that. And, if you guys wanted to, just watch like another 290 million hours of my channel, feel free. I got the dank memes playlist. It's pretty dank. But seriously, that is the best content on my channel, and it got like no views, and I'm pissed. Go watch it. It's mandatory. Do it. You have to. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.